All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Reyes Ramirez with Fresh Arts. I am the programs coordinator, and this is the resource roundup with me, Reyes. If you haven't been here before, just so you know, Fresh Arts is a arts nonprofit based primarily out of Houston, Texas. Though through our digital channels, we have different forms of reach and how this information gets to you. And if you have been here before, welcome back. And so this is the show where in about 20 minutes, you can be caught up on some really, really great opportunities that I've researched or that have been submitted to me for you to apply to take advantage of. So again, stay tuned for about 20 minutes and hopefully you get caught up on some really, really useful information. But yeah, so just to kind of go through this fairly quickly, the first thing I do want to talk about is the Fresh Arts Summit replays. So if you have been to the summit, that's awesome. Just so you know, if you're registered, you can watch all the replays until July. I should know this, like early July, like July 5th. Yeah, around July 5th. Yes, I believe it's July 5th. You can watch all the replays, have access to that information. Y otra cosa que yo quiero decir es que también el summit está en español. Tiene subtítulos en español y transcripciones que puedes leer en español. Y si quieres acceso a esta información, todos los videos, todas las sesiones están en español. So, si quieres leerlo así o quieres ver los videos, tienen subtítulos en español. So, y si no es el artista o creativo que necesita un poco de información o más información o ayuda o inspiración por su carrera, puedes ver los videos en español con subtítulos o puedes leer las transcripciones y están disponibles ahorita. Y registración empieza con $10, pues es a mí es muy barato. Muchos de este tipo de información está muy caro, pero porque queremos ayudar a los artistas y creativos. Toda esa información valúa como $50, pero también puedes tener acceso a esta información por como $10. Y por favor, puedes registrar ahorita y puedes tener acceso a toda esa información hasta julio. Espero que registras y por favor díganos y esta información está y si tienes uso para esta información. And so I just want to reiterate, we have transcripts and subtitles in English and Spanish. So however you need to access that information, we have that available in captions during the video, but also as transcripts. And so the next thing I want to talk about is the Fresh Arts podcast series. We had a season 1 come out last fall. It was 6 episodes, and we talked about different topics and issues that affect the creative's life. This time around, we're doing a season 2 for this fall. And so now we have an open call for episodes. And so if you go to that form in the comments, you can either submit an episode idea or 2 or what have you. You can submit an idea. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, you can submit your information there. But you can have a question answered on the podcast. So please submit. Let us know what issues you're worried about. We definitely want to touch on as many themes and have some really great conversations with artists about very important, pertinent issues to artists and creatives in Houston and beyond. And so again, if you want a good idea of like what episodes to pitch, just watch season 1 and look at those episode titles. There's really not a lot of guidelines as to what we can touch upon as long as it's connected to the life of a creative. Right. And so like parenthood, right? That's an episode we plan on having regarding parenthood as an artist. We have another episode about what we're planning to do. Again, nothing's set in stone, but again, like we're welcome to suggestions from you. I don't know, another idea the only other, I think, format is that as long as it's in the format of the episode title of what we set up. So should I or shouldn't I, right? So should I or shouldn't I be part of a peer group or part of a workshop, right? So just let us know. We will consider, there's no bad ideas. There's no bad questions. So we definitely want to know what you have to think and say and all that good stuff. So please submit an episode idea. And I believe that's it for Fresh Arts stuff. Again, we've always got a lot of stuff going on. Go to our website at fresharts.org. Kind of like a sneak peek for the next thing we're doing is Artist Inc. I heard their applications are open. We'll post more information next time, but if you want to go ahead and look at that information, if you've applied before and you know all about it, well, the applications are open. If you haven't heard about it before, stay tuned for the next resource roundup to learn more about that. All right, so now to the grants and all that good stuff, upcoming deadlines. Let me share my screen and I'll get right to it. All right, so the first deadline we're coming up on is June 23rd for artist relief grants for artists. So again, these are relief grants. I believe this is actually a sizable number. It's free to apply. It's due Wednesday, June 23rd, but it's $5,000 to artists facing dire financial emergencies due to COVID-19. The guidelines are here, but it's pretty open as to what art. Yeah, like here they list all the disciplines. So it's pretty open. It's free. If you need it, $5,000, go for it. Up next, we have Andrew W. Mellon Foundation 2021 call for proposals for community-based archives. This is a really interesting grant where essentially if you're part of a community or a neighborhood and you have maybe someone or a center that's sitting on like a lot of information or a lot of records that you think is really important to a community or a discipline or something like that. This is a grant to kind of create a formal process to preserve all that stuff. And so there's plenty of ideas that I have, but in terms of like, in terms of Houston and what information it's sitting on and how each neighborhood has its own history, again, like if you're sitting on something like that and you want to work with the organization to preserve those things and you want to get into that and you have some experience with preservation or creating a process or working with neighborhood or community organizing, definitely check this one out. This is due Friday, June 25th, and this is from $50,000 to $100,000 grants for 2 years. So, if that's something you really care about and you're sitting on, check this one out. And you do have to work with an organization. Up next, we have on June 25th, the Dance Source Houston Dancer Fund. They extended this deadline. Originally, it had already passed, but they opened it up more to allow more applications. And so what this is that it's a kind of like a fund to pay dancers, individuals for artist fees for up to $500. So, or rather, it's a match up to $500. So if you're being paid for a performance or to do a dance or what have you, to put on an art event or a performance, this fund will match the stipend you're receiving up to $500. So if the stipend is $500, you could probably apply up to $500 to get $1,000 total. So the performance has to take place between July 1st, 2020 through June 30th. So you could have already done this since last July and get a matching fund. So it's awesome. It's free. This is due June 25th. So dancers, get on this if this applies to you. And it's open to all the greater Houston region. So I think that's also awesome. Up next, we have Caldera 2022 Artists in Residence. This is an interesting one. Residency. It's free to apply. It's in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains for 2 to 3.5 weeks. They provide you with a cabin, a studio space, and a stipend of $800 to $1,200 depending on the length of your residency. But I think it's pretty all right. It's a free application to just if you get it, to be paid up to $1,200 to go live in a cabin for a few weeks. If that's what you're looking for, I think you just have to pay your own way to get there, and your food once you're there. But you can pinch those pennies and make that work, and hopefully pocket some of the $1,200. But yeah, check this out if you're looking to escape a bit. So again, this is free. It's due June 25th. The next thing is Houston Center for Contemporary Craft, the Curator Fellow. The original deadline already passed, but then they extended it to Monday, June 28th. This is for curators who want to develop, execute, manage exhibitions based on craft exhibitions. So sculpture, sculpting, craft, ceramics, fabrics, all that good stuff. They're really, really cool space, and they're really cool team. I mean, I can't stress enough how awesome the space is. So check this out if you're a curator working with craft. This is due Monday, June 28th. I believe you get a stipend as well with this. Well, read the guidelines. You'll see. Up next, we have the Waveform Radio Artist Fellowship. This is a really, really unique opportunity. Just because I'm not entirely sure what radio art is. They outline and define it here, but in essence, like I think it's pretty open to like theater, right? If you do like performances on radio, voice performances on radio, if you do radio drama, documentary, interview series, news formats, found in field sound compositions, reframed by broadcast, performative embodiments of radio, all that good stuff. So you look through that, but I think the awesome thing also to keep in mind is it's a $15,000 stipend. So it's a pretty good chunk of change, and you visit Akron, New York 3 times. So I think it's an entirely unique opportunity. If you're into this kind of stuff, check it out. This is due June 30th, and it's free to apply. Up next, we have Hyperallergic Journalism Fellowships for Curators. This is, again, another really unique opportunity where if you're a curator and you haven't really gotten to do a show, or you're doing research for a next show or exhibition, you can submit a short proposal for projects that you're working on and doing research on, and they could give you a $5,000 grant to help you in your research. You do like an email exhibition, which is interesting again, and they define it, you can look in through there, but the idea is that pretty much like if you're a curator and you're working on something and you just haven't been able to get those funds or been able to get the support that you need for it, this is a really cool opportunity for that, where they give you $5,000 to just keep working on a show and doing research. So check that out. It's free to apply. You just email. Very relatively easy application. It's just 250 words, a CV, and some images. Really easy. So check this out. That's due June 30th. Up next, we have Theatrics play submissions. Theatrics, they're doing their annual Life is Shorts, La Vida es Cortos short play and film festival. I believe the topic is just as long as it's related to Latinx culture, showing Latinx actors, all that good stuff. This is a submission for 10-minute plays or films. So check this out. It's free to apply. It's due Wednesday, June 30th. Up next, again on June 30th, free to apply if you qualify. This is the Illuminations Grant for Black trans women visual artists. Essentially, self-identified Black trans women and trans femmes can apply for this grant for $10,000. If you work in the visual arts and identify as any of these guidelines, identify with any of the guidelines listed here, again, 10 grand. Really good. It's free to apply. For visual artists, I think a really, really great opportunity. And some finalists will be awarded a $1,200 award for 4 finalists. So it's free. It only costs some time. I think it's a great opportunity. So check this out. June 30th. All right, up next, as we near the end, we have Mid-America Arts Alliance. They're giving their interchange grant. I think this is a really interesting opportunity. This is Interchange grants will be awarded to 16 artists with active, socially engaged creative practice in the Mid-America Arts Alliance region, which includes Texas, where we are. You get $20,000 in direct project support. All you have to do really is just be an artist with an active, socially engaged creative practice. And they define that here. They have quite a few open definitions, including a creative practice that responds to social issues, challenges, and opportunities. So it's really cool. And here are the types of arts that apply. So performing arts, traditional arts, literary, visual, humanities. It's just a really, really open and cool grant opportunity that offers a good chunk of change of 20 grand in Texas to do a really relevant and awesome project, which I know we in Houston have. So go for it, do it. This is due Monday, July 5th. It's direct project support, so you don't have to have a fiscal sponsor or a 501c3 or anything like that. In fact, they don't want that, right? They want independent artists. So this is a really cool opportunity. Go for it. And again, you're always welcome to visit our artist resource library to see how to write a grant proposal and do a summary and all that good stuff, which I'm sure this will ask for. So check this out. It's due July 5th, and it's free to apply. All right, and as we get into July, I'm going to give you just 2 opportunities just because, the sooner you jump on these, the better. So this is the Burlington Contemporary Art Writing Prize. So if you're art writer or art critic, this is a really cool opportunity to get paid for £1,000, which is probably worth a bit more in dollars. But this one, you just have to write, it's to publish a review, essentially. You just submit the article, no more than 1,000 words and 3 images, and just a contemporary art exhibition that's happening now, but it's showing art since 2000. So just keep that in mind. But it's a good chunk of change for 1 article, 1 review. Do it to it, Houston. This is due Monday, July 12th. So you've got some time. Preferably go to maybe an exhibition by artists of color or underrepresented artists and give them the attention that they deserve, but also get paid yourself. So I think a really cool opportunity. And finally, July 16th, this is a paid internship with the Idea Fund. They're looking for an intern. The rate is $15 an hour. Really cool re-granting kind of body institution that does a lot of great work in Houston. So they fund some really cool projects. So just keep this in mind if you're looking for work or an internship. And that's about it. Hopefully that didn't take up too much time. Yeah, I'm under 20 minutes. And there you go. Under 20 minutes, you're hopefully caught up on a lot of cool opportunities and grants and deadlines and all that good stuff. And so, again, check out the summit if you haven't already. Registration starts at like $10, which is a really, really, really great deal on a lot of great information that helps support local Houston artists. The summit really is meant to, in a way, position Houston artists as experts in their field and in their craft, and we fully believe that. So for $10, you get to really see that on display, and I think that's awesome. And then again, for the podcast, you can submit questions for the podcast, get your question answered, or maybe even be a guest. We're open to all kinds of things for the podcast. So just let us know, send in your question, your episode idea, and we'll see if we can make it happen. But there you go. Again, under 20 minutes, caught up. Good luck. Apply for all the things, get all the money, and then I'll see you next time. All right. Have a good one.